Welcome to Psychic Tuesday, and I'm your guide, Bernice Bisson. Well, let's start at the top. We're going to talk about astrology for all 12 signs, your sun, moon, or rising. Traditional tropical Western astrology is how I use to cast charts, and I do that both in personal readings. I don't. This is the only show that I do this on. I don't do Facebook Lives. I don't have. I have one social media page, so I'm one you'd have to see in person or video reads or on A1R Psychic Radio or Moonstruck Television. Let's get started. We're going to start with Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, our little Aries. This is about coming to agreements. Now, where some of this is going to come from before I kind of get too deep in the signs is we are about to have 5 planets retrograde. I will bring our attention to September because we have Uranus going retrograde and Pluto going to, Uranus RX and Pluto RX. Uranus going direct and Pluto retrograding, and it's like the clash of the titans. And so you could have decisions over the month of August for the collective as a whole that will come to a culmination. We have Venus right now conjuncting with Pluto really and Uranus and really giving us a push forward in things that we value. And so if I go to Aries, it's around things you agree, agreements, prosperity, patronages, being chosen, getting selected for that contract, coming into some chunky money, and really new opportunities around that. Where it could be a bit of a bumpy ride, could be in your love life a little bit, people's words and actions not matching. And so this might be a time to focus on yourself, your health routines, and your work, Aries. Then we're going to go into Tauruses, our little Tauruses. This is Uranus is in your sign. It's going retrograde, going back over old degrees of things that have gone on since your birth date in April, May. And maybe you're culminating something. Something could be a celebration, a conclusion, a step forward for you. And there's festivities and satisfaction. Your only goal right now, Taurus, is your happiness. What's going to bring you joy? And whether that's including people, including things into your life or excluding them, either way, it's about bringing your joy. And again, with that Venus influence about which is governing you, is going to be around your identity, how you're valued, how you're seen by people. And you could have some real pleasant surprises about what comes out of the woodwork. If you're a single Taurus, woo woo, could be some fun times romantically in the next week, intensely, 10 days, but the next 2 years very much so under this transit for everybody. So satisfaction, relevancy, feeling relevant, feeling like, you're hip again or something, that maybe you're being seen again or you're ready to get out in the world. But it's nice stuff for you, Tauruses. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. We've got Jupiter and we got Mars, both in your sign, expanding out things for you at a rapid rate. Your social life, friendship circles, your reputation, business, all these things are just expanding at a rapid rate in spite of a number of slowdowns, say Mercury retrograde. So although you want to go full steam ahead to expand things out, you could find the world around you does not. And so to try to stay in alignment with that. This is going to be a time of looking what you can trust, what you're going to put into trust, what you're going to secure, where your security lay, where you want to expand that out. You're going to find some recourse and relief in things around maybe finances, commitments, lining up work, what's going on for you in those houses as well. And things that you've been wanting to take action on. You can have lots of optimism, lots of excitement, wanting to move forward. But again, with these planets retrograde, August ain't the time to do that. I feel like come maybe mid-September, first week in September might be the better time to move forward on a few things. And that you could do a lot of foreshadowing, laying track, connect, saying, hey, let's get together in a couple of weeks and we'll talk about yada, yada to move something forward. And so looks like some good stuff for you guys, Geminis, particularly Jupiter in your sign the next now 11 months. But Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising, boy, oh boy, you guys, this is going to be a time of politics, political, handling things very politically. You could be viewed, you could be tapped on the shoulder for leadership. People could view you for a job. They could want you to take charge of something. This is a time about your reputation and your legacy. And, and that includes, skeletons in the closet, ghosts in the attic, those could come out as well. This could be a time about unveiling yourself, really stepping into your power. There's going to be a retrograde with Pluto, which had been had been in your house of partnership. I feel like there could be a bit of old power struggles that come from the past, exes. That could be just if you're in a long-term relationship, it could be old arguments coming up again for hashing out for the final time, where you can just move forward on a few things and maybe have a new life in long-term relationships. And if you're single, this could be a new life in your single life, that your realms around work and things you commit to and serve to could really benefit you in your love life as well. So that feels pretty good. Leo, sun, moon, rising. Boy, we've got the sun, we've got Venus. Aren't you the belle of the ball right now? I love it. And this is about you and partnerships. We have Pluto retrograde, and it's about maybe if you're in a long term relationship with a partner, it's about them finding themselves, changing jobs, dealing with issues they've had, really having to tend to their own lives. This is going to be a time where you might decide about changing work, about how you're being valued at work. You could get better offers. You could get things that are coming down the pipe that you could be ready to launch. And now, even though you have this lovely energy with Venus and the Sun, what what could be a bit of a problem is that Mercury's going to go retrograde, and I actually feel like it can come in a couple ways. It could be a partner or old people from the past, and that can include lovers and friends. Coming from the past, you'll have to decide what you want to do with that, because you have a bunch of new energy coming into your life. And I feel like you could wind up changing jobs. You could wind up changing what you're doing. You could wind up adding to what you're doing. You're like, ooh, I got something new, a new stream of income. But it's very positive and it's about abundance and addition. So you might even take on extra work, but you have more abundance coming too through earned ways. And so your presence is really required in a few places. That is for sure. Then, if I look at Virgo, sun, moon, rising, boy, oh boy, with all this Venus energy, all of this, which is also ruling you, this Mercury retrograde energy, which will hit you directly because it is in your sign. This is good for your work, career, or vision. It's the time to set boundaries with work, maybe set your direction with work, set your tone with work. This is also a time where you have to carry a light stick, because things that you say can be a bit direct or harsh, or could be taken the wrong way by people around you. This is also a time that decisions around relationships for you, which you're willing to commit to, invest in, or put your energy into. I feel like you're going to be very focused in on your career goals, money, income, and security. And I feel like this over the next 12 weeks is going to be winner, winner, chicken dinner for you. Okay. Then we've got Libra, sun, moon, rising, Libra, Libra. We've had Chiron in Aries retrograde, which is in your house of partnership and dealing with old wounds. That could be old generational wounds, family wounds, estates, inheritances, money, assets, property. There could be chunky money in the news for you. There could be opportunities that way. I feel like relationships could feel a bit tumultuous or superficial. They could feel like there's a lot of excitement in some areas, and people revolting in other areas, other people giving up in other areas. And I feel like when all this energy is going on around you guys, you Libras, you could feel a bit devilish. You could feel a bit mischievous. You could feel a bit like, let's test the waters. Let's see what comes from this. But you seem to be really sorting out estates, as properties, assets, generational wounds, generational gifts, things that that and that can be your own legacies, and things that you also and you could be just sorting out all those types of paperwork, taxes, wills, estates, paperwork, your financial security, mortgages, sort of long-term commitments around those things. And you're healing some old wounds over this next few months around how you feel valued. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising. We've got success. Oh, I always like that first word off the top. And so we've got success for you, settlement. Now, settlement's an interesting word, because it's about maybe settling into your success. This isn't about, ambition or about aggressive sort of pursuing of your success. This is about sitting in your success. This is about also achieving your own agency, achieving your own opportunities. You finally get your desserts, maybe you finally get your rewards, maybe you finally coming into your own, and you're going to be unapologetic about it. But just know, again, with Mercury retrograde, this is foot and mouth season, so be careful with that. Foot and mouth season for Scorpios. And to not to get pulled into any old battles of will. If you decided to move on, or if you decided to move forward, don't look back. Hey, Scorpios, Sagittarian, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is going to be about your job, your commitments, what you're really willing to commit to, and what do you want out of your career, and where's it going to bring you? And it's around defining who you are and where you're going. So this is big existential sort of stuff, and especially with your seventh house lit up with both Mars and Jupiter, your house of partners. Being really mindful, present, trying to connect to any partners in your life, business partners, romantic partners, because it could feel like like you could be a bit isolated, in this time of isolation, it would be a good time to focus on your work career, what you're doing, where it's bringing you, and what you want out of this. And because there could be some vacillating between, money and freedom, or freedom and money, because freedom is what you value, and money. But the freedom seems to be a big piece for you, and you could feel a little discouraged with partners because it just feels like maybe it's just too hard to address. And with Mercury retrograde over the next 3 or 4 weeks, don't count on it. Okay, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Boy, Pluto is going to show up in your sign, and it's about really taking ownership, responsibility, stakes around you like your power. That could be getting called back to old jobs. You could be reinstated. You could be looking at going back to something you used to do. You could be old employers might want you back. People you used to work with could be coming into your life. It's some big stuff, especially with all these retrogrades. I feel like it could be quite good for you in that way. I feel like you have to be mindful about being forced into the decisions, or if you're feeling like you're under a timeline or a time crunch to sign papers, you might not want to do that. You might want to wait until the end of August into September when Mercury's gone direct and you're not feeling under pressure to make commitments to things, particularly around anything that would have to do with your work, income, employment, being called back, signing a contract, a lease, things that you would have to go back over the details. Because I feel like, I don't know, with Pluto coming back into your sign, there could be some disruption there anyway. And you're like, I just went through all this, and then you have to do it again. Okay, Aquarian, Sun, Moon, Rising. Pluto is our retrograde in your sign right now. And it's really about getting your routines, your boundaries, your lists, your schedule into place. It's about getting things out of the chaos and into normality, about not getting bored with the mundane and blowing things up. Is that a routine will serve you? It will keep you on the straight and narrow. It'll keep you focused. It'll keep you feeling safe and secure. And I just feel like this is the time to put in those lists, those to-do lists, fill in the calendar with all the things to get really organized. And because I feel like come fall, when Pluto starts to go direct and then returns to your sign into the new year, it's about your new direction. So I want you to feel like you're prepared and organized as you set off. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. Boy, Sun, this is the big news for you guys this week, really around your identity and really coming into yourself. There's news that's going to come to you that could be really enlightening, really freeing, really give you some vitality, some excitement, some things to look forward to. They're where you could feel pressured is in your responses to people, or their responses to you, and that people could feel very short. They could feel very sort of attacking. They could feel like their words cut. And I just feel like, don't take it personally. People are pretty elevated at the moment in several ways, and not to take anything personally. Know that with these retrograde planets, it's foot and mouth time, or it's missed opportunities, missed calls, miscommunications. And in this energy, it just requires us to stand still that couple seconds longer. Hold off responding a couple seconds longer. Hold off making a decision. Sleep on it, review it. This is the time to do that. There's no pressure. it's the time to sort of slow things down because any pressure or impulsivity is going to kind of backlash and you'd have to go over it anyway because some of these planets are going over old degrees anyway. So that's my heads up to everyone for the next 10 days or so. And you can find me at bernicebissonpsychic.com. And I've got Carol in Cedar Lake, Indiana. Carol, how can I be of service to you today?
Hi. I don't have any big problems or things to fix in my life. I do have many loved ones in spirit, and I feel them around me. And I just thought maybe you could be able to pick up on any loved ones around me. I do feel very alone. I'm an old soul. I'm highly evolved in certain ways, and I feel a lot alone, lonely in this world. I have a loving family. I have worked with great people, and I enjoy people. But there's times where I'm just very alone. So we'll just see if you can pick up on any advice for that.
Okay, I'm hearing you. Um, sometimes, so first thing that seems to show up, excuse me, is there is a child spirit and a woman spirit who is like your best friend. These
Yes.
two energies seem to show up right away. And the woman who is like your best friend, her passing is feels like the hardest to get over because that's where the loneliness might come from. And that just being able to
Yes.
pick up the
Yes.
phone and talk to her. She's a shining light.
That's,
She's an orb. She's electricity. She shows up as electricity quite a bit. Lightning storms, very much so. I don't know why I think of the lightning, and that beautiful energy. I feel like I would almost think of like this weird image of like two cats curled up on your lap, or these like two little cats curled up on your lap. Sort of that imagery and that times that even as a little girl, having felt alone, and part of this is when kids grow rapidly as a kid and they seem to be bigger than the rest of the kids, or they seem to be
yes.
more there's something about that with you that even as a little kid you would have had very adult insights. There is a grandmother figure that already passed that shows up with your mom and your mom's family, and this energy is really powerful and like
Wow.
Three Musketeers, like the group of, yeah, really powerful. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I- and and I feel like um they've always told you things. And it's so funny because I would remind me of your psychic abilities, like would come from like this lady, this old, like, and it feels very old school, like I would tea leaf read or something, or I would like, you know, um,
Yes. My
I,
mother was gifted. Yeah. She
yeah,
was.
and in ways that, she didn't really need anything, she could look into a teacup and probably see it anyway, but just know you're like the Three Musketeers and it's just love, and there's something about, um, other people's children being raised maybe by your family, or that there was like these different sets of kids. And I feel like there's something about a man that could be like a long lost man, like he's like a long lost man that
Uh
shows
huh.
up, that could show up
In
around
spirit.
you. Yes.
In
And,
spirit.
there was something that kept coming in, before I even got on the phone today to do the radio show, that there was something about an R name. I know you're Carol, and there was like a G name and an R name and an M, these initials, that kept showing up.
There's Margaret, Robert. Uh, I had an Aunt Margaret that I was close to, a
You know,
female, and she was in spirit and was also a pure soul, very sure.
and someone has their child with them. There's a child, I want to say like a brother figure. So
I
like I just
I had a miscarriage.
um Thank you for that. I feel like I'm gonna just I'm gonna go backwards a little bit. There was a boy who would have been under the age of 13. I almost want to say a J name. I'll just leave that for now because I'm
Okay.
gonna jump around. So I only have a few minutes, and I want to cram in as much as I can with you. So, a boy spirit, I would go back probably to 1983 or the 80s when he passed, and he would have been very like a
Okay.
teen. And now I just want to say I feel like these ladies, they show up at your house quite a bit. You don't have to go anywhere. I feel like just put a pot of coffee on or something, and I feel like they'll show up. There's something I'm
Okay.
supposed to tell you about your mobility, your legs, feet.
I have
And you,
arthritis in my feet. I am very mobile and I'm very active, and I work. Do a lot of heavy lifting, but I'm very able-bodied. It's just I have a little bit of arthritis in the foot.
okay, so if that's the foot, I need you to be really then be mindful about putting out your back, your sciatic, your leg, and I almost want to go to your right side. Okay.
It is, yes, it's on the right.
Okay, that's all. Just if I thought of any cautionary tale in this whole
Eat a lot.
conversation. The other piece that shows up is you're going to have an opportunity. I'm going to kind of bounce between the deceased and the living or things in front of you. There's something about an opportunity that's going to present itself to you within 4 months or so to 6 months where you might be able to go to the West Coast. And
Okay.
like mountains and water. I keep seeing around you,
Wow. I would love to do that.
and it's going to show up. I feel like you're going to know about the trip within 4 to 6 months, but I see you going in the month of June of 2025, around June 14th, and there's something about the opportunity to go to mountains and water, and I feel like you have a male who's talking to you about this, um, a male, a man who's going to talk about, hey, let's make plans, let's travel, let's go. And so I feel like this is going to show up in a really good way. Um, there is now there's also some challenges with a man that I feel like he has health issues and he's grouchy. And um, I feel
In the
like
living,
unless he recently
or
passed of a heart condition.
recently passed of a heart condition. Okay.
Do you take care of people?
Uh, no, I work in a
Okay.
grocery store, but I
That's
know a
not what
lot of people because I work with the public.
I'm going to back up. So the man with the heart condition, I'm just going to mention a few things. I feel like he has a name like your dad, and
Okay.
and he has a heart condition, and I feel like it's something that he would have to work on. I feel like he's living, and I feel like he just has to work on it. And he would, I don't know why he has a name like your dad. I don't know why that is. Why I'm telling you that, but it's something about that, and that's something he has
I
to
have
work on.
someone. I have someone in my life right now that I work with that is a lot like my dad, and I'm very close to a male figure.
Okay, he just needs to watch. That's all. Just with there's something about like his blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, something that he might even wind up on medication. Okay.
Yeah, he's got health problems, and he acts like my father figure and reminds me of my dad, and he does have things that he doesn't know what's wrong with him, and I have to tell him check his heart.
Yeah, there's something going on around that. I almost want to say his waterworks, like kidneys, heart, his circulation, his blood pressure. And I feel like that's just something that I feel like there's medication. There's something that they can put him on to help him with that. So yeah, go see a doctor. Yeah, I'm a psychic, not a doctor. So I feel like just go see a doctor and that he can figure that out. I feel like he's in good hands. I feel like your your dad is tell it like he'll your dad can tell it like it is. He'll tell you like it is. He'll always tell you like straight up,
Straight to the
like
point.
straight up.
I am too. I'm like that too. Yes.
Yeah, I love that quality. I love it. No guessing, no guessing. And
Yes.
so that's
Yes. Now
uh,
my mobility, they don't see that slowing me down, do they? Because I am not in any way, shape, or form slow right now, and I just have a little bit of pain. Is there something I should do?
just pay attention to not let it turn into plantar fasciitis or put your like, you know how sometimes we can get, um, I don't know, it keeps bringing me to your right foot, leg, and I just feel like just be mindful not to even roll your ankle or in your busy rush because you might always be in a rush, like um, tippy, spilly, trippy, rushing,
Yes.
getting ahead of yourself. Sometimes you can get like that. And I feel like I just don't want you to, how, so for instance, in Winnipeg, when it snows and it gets icy and you walk and you almost slip, but you don't quite slip, it feels like you just put your back out, like, and
Oh,
so,
oh, yeah, yeah. I see
right.
that
So
can
I want you
happen.
to not rush. So to work with this energy and prevent this energy, I want you to really ground yourself when you're like, oh, I got to go drive to work. I'm at work. I don't want you to get, because I know in a grocery store, you said a grocery store, thank you for sharing that. You can get really busy, get ahead of yourself, get tripping over yourself. And I feel like just slow down one thing at a time, one person at a time, and you'll just get in a really good zone as opposed to that's it. So I feel like it comes from something like that, or you bash into something
Okay.
because you tripped over it, or yeah. So just be mindful. And I want to
All
say
right.
something about the grocery store and around you in the grocery store. People love you there. They love you there. Do not leave your job. I feel like they need you there actually. They like um
Thank you. Both the staff and the customers, you say?
they I think they need you, and I feel like you provide something where you remember people, you remember them, they remember you. It's almost like they want it, and I feel like you might have a change like of a manager or a general manager. There's some sort of restructure. Don't worry. I feel like you're going to get heard on some of the things you've been asking for. um, there's some changes or something you've been asking for, and that I feel like it's going to come up. You could wind up in charge of an entire department, in charge of things, or they want you to take care of
Yes.
things. And I feel
Yes,
like there's good
they
things coming.
depend on me a lot. I've been told that they depend on me a lot. I don't mean to brag, but when I'm not there, the place falls apart. Put it that way. So yes, thank you very much.
Girl,
That's true.
I love it, and Spirit loves you, and that's all my time I have today. And thank you for coming on my show. My name is Bernice Bisson, and you can find me on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck Television every Tuesday.